911, what's your emergency? It's my husband, he's gone. His blood is everywhere, but he's not here. Her name was Vanessa Hartley, a brilliant, relentless 38-year-old district attorney in Portland. She had a perfect record, over 40 successful convictions. She put away murderers, rapists, organized criminals. They called her the steel rose in the courtroom, graceful, poised, deadly. But on the night of March 8th, the hunter became the hunted. At exactly 2:14 a.m., police received a chilling 911 call from a residence in the upscale Goose Hollow neighborhood. "I just got home," she whispered. "The front door was open. There's blood in the hallway. My husband, he's missing." Her voice cracked, but it was steady, too steady. When officers arrived minutes later, the scene was bizarre. There were no signs of forced entry, no signs of struggle, just a trail of blood from the kitchen floor down the hallway, stopping at the back door which had been left ajar. Her husband, Mark Hartley, a 41-year-old real estate developer, was gone. His phone was on a kitchen counter, still buzzing from missed calls. His wallet was untouched. But the blood? It was his. A DNA match confirmed it. And here's where things got darker. Vanessa had just returned from a 3-day legal conference in Seattle. She had photos, receipts, time-stamped texts. Her alibi was airtight. But detectives noticed something off. She wasn't crying. Not when they questioned her. Not even when she saw the blood-stained photos. In fact, she barely blinked. When asked if her husband had any enemies, she shook her head. None. Mark was a sweetheart. He didn't deserve this. But then she said something strange. She turned to the lead detective and asked, "You think it was one of mine, don't you?" "One of hers." As in, someone she prosecuted. Suddenly, the case twisted. Was this a revenge killing? Mark Hartley was charming, outgoing, a guy who ordered extra food just to share with homeless people outside their gym. But scratch the surface, and things weren't as perfect as they looked. Investigators pulled security footage from a neighbor's Ring camera across the street. At 11:43 p.m., a car pulls into the Hartley's driveway. A tall man in a dark hoodie steps out. He walks straight into the backyard. No hesitation. He knew the layout. There was no footage of him leaving. 3 minutes later, the camera shuts off. Manual disconnect. The last person to see Mark alive was Vanessa's assistant, Rachel. She said Vanessa left the office around 6 p.m. that Friday, stressed and unusually quiet. She packed up her files and told Rachel she'd be back Sunday night. But Vanessa's neighbor, an older woman named Doreen, said something different. "I saw her car come back around midnight Saturday. She parked it around the back, like she didn't want anyone to see." That was the night before she claimed she returned. And just like that, her airtight alibi cracked. Detectives now had 3 possibilities. Mark had been abducted by someone connected to a case Vanessa prosecuted. Vanessa knew more than she claimed. Or worse, she staged everything. They dug into her court cases, and one name stood out: Victor Santiago, 39, convicted arms trafficker, sentenced to 30 years. Thanks to Vanessa, he had been released on a technicality just 2 months prior, a glitch in chain of custody evidence. Vanessa had fought it, but the court overruled her. He lost everything: money, reputation, freedom, and he blamed her. Detectives found something chilling on his Facebook page. A single post made weeks before Mark disappeared. "I don't get even. I get smart." Santiago was located in Arizona, but his GPS showed no travel, no flights, no purchases, except the burner phone registered to an alias used in one of his past schemes pinged near Vanessa's house the night Mark vanished. Now it was a race. If Victor Santiago had taken Mark, was he still alive? But the story spiraled again. A forensic tech found something in the blood trail at Vanessa's house. The droplets were uniform, evenly spaced, not splatter, not smudged, which suggested staging. Someone had poured the blood. A trace chemical test on the floor revealed something Vanessa should have known to clean: peroxide residue. She had wiped the original mess, then poured blood from a separate container. That container was found in their trash, buried under shredded case files. It still had Mark's dry blood inside. Now Vanessa became suspect number one. She lawyered up immediately. But here's the kicker. There was still no body, no murder weapon, no physical evidence tying her to a killing, just a blood trail, a disappearing husband, and a brilliant prosecutor who knew the system inside and out. Detectives subpoenaed Vanessa's Google account. On March 2nd, 6 days before Mark vanished, she'd searched. How long does it take for a body to decompose in water? Marital property after death, Oregon law. Accidental drowning, no autopsy. That same night, she used her key card to access a private boathouse owned by one of her firm's former clients, an elderly man in hospice who hadn't used the place in months. Divers were called. What they found shocked everyone. Weighted beneath 18 feet of icy water, tangled in rope and tarp, was Mark Hartley's body. Autopsy revealed he had been hit twice in the head with a blunt object, likely a fireplace poker. His lungs were dry. He had been dead before he went into the water. The poker matched one missing from Vanessa's fireplace set. It was over, right? Not yet, because when investigators confronted Vanessa, she didn't ask for a lawyer. She sat silent for 38 minutes. Then, she leaned forward and said, "He was going to leave me, for someone half my age. Said he wanted a softer life. Said I was too intense, too cold. I gave up everything for him. I built his entire brand while putting monsters behind bars. And he was going to throw it all away." Then she smiled, just slightly. "I guess now he gets to rest." Vanessa Hartley was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The media exploded. The steel rose had snapped. But the court battle was about to get uglier than anything she'd ever seen from the prosecutor's side, because her own defense attorney, Julia Klein, began to dig deeper into Vanessa's mental state. What she found was disturbing. Vanessa had been receiving anonymous messages for weeks leading up to the murder. One read, "He's cheating with your intern." Another, "You put the wrong people away. You'll pay." And then the shocker, a photo sent anonymously to Vanessa's email 2 days before Mark disappeared. It showed Mark kissing Rachel, Vanessa's assistant, outside a restaurant in Bend, Oregon. Time-stamped. Clear, Rachel denied it at first. But under pressure, she crumbled. "Yes, I was with him. He said they were separating. I didn't know he was still sleeping in her bed." When Rachel was shown the anonymous email, she burst into tears. "I never sent that. I never took that photo. Who did?" And that's when this story took a sinister new twist. Vanessa's phone data revealed a second burner phone, bought under a fake name, registered to a P.O. box in Hillsboro. That phone had one purpose, sending those messages to herself. Yes, Vanessa Hartley staged her own descent into madness. She created a fake affair, faked a stalker, fake betrayal, to build a narrative, one where she could plead temporary insanity and walk. She'd spent years convicting criminals. She knew how the game was played. But this time, she became the game. Vanessa's trial began in front of a packed courtroom, every seat filled. Cameras, journalists, former convicts she put away, smiling from the back row. She pled not guilty. But then, on the third day of trial, the judge received an emergency motion. A new piece of evidence had surfaced. Surveillance footage from the boathouse captured a second person helping Vanessa move Mark's body. The quality was poor. No face. But the height, the walk, the build, it looked familiar. Too familiar. It wasn't Rachel. It was a man. The courtroom went still. The DA paused mid-sentence. Vanessa turned pale, because the figure in the video was someone they thought was dead. Who was the man caught helping Vanessa move the body? And why had he vanished months earlier? Subscribe to Whispers of Crime, Motive, and Murder to find out what really happened that night.